Round up today's top stories in the world of science and tech with CTV science and technology expert Dan Riskin. Dan, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Dan, good to see you on this Monday morning. Let's start with this. Have you ever heard a voice that wasn't there? Scientists have made a way we can hallucinate voices, huh?
Yeah, so I mean, some people do hear voices on their own, but what researchers have come up with is a way to induce that in everyday people in the lab. And the way they've done it is to freak them right out. So they've got this machine they've been using for some time where you push a button and you're all alone in a room, you push a button, and then a little finger on your chair touches you behind you, but it takes a second before it touches you. And that delay, even though you know it's your button, that delay is enough to start giving you the willies. And then they start playing noise over speakers, like static noise, but there are voices in it. And that freaks you out even more. And once they've done those things to you for long enough, if they play static noise to you, you will hear voices that are not there. Whoa. And now that they've come up with this, I know it's so freaky, it's perfect for Halloween, but they say this is a great tool because now if we want to understand what's happening in somebody's brain when they're hearing voices that aren't really there, we have a way to induce this in the lab in a large sample of people and really, start doing experiments to find out what exactly is going wrong.
And you don't have to spin any records backwards or anything.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. No, it reminds me of, when some people have phantom pains.
Yeah, right.
This is like a phantom audible. Very interesting stuff.
Totally.
Okay, Dan, turning to this, I think I know the answer. Does income inequality ruin your work-life balance?
Yeah, this is a really interesting study where they looked across a whole bunch of different countries at how much income inequality there is between the richest people and the poorest people. In some countries, like in Norway or Finland, there isn't as big a gap. But if you look at places like South Africa, there's an enormous gap between the rich and the poor. And then they looked at just overall, what's people's attitude about how much work-life balance they get to have, how many hours they expect to work in a day. And they found a pretty tight correlation that the more unequal a place is, the more people are willing to sacrifice their personal happiness in order to spend more time at work. And it's about trying to climb that ladder because it's a little bit of a steeper climb.
All right, interesting. Okay, quick show of hands here. Jen, Dan, do you guys hit the snooze button? Hands up if you do. Okay,
Absolutely.
You do. Okay, see, I don't touch it. I think I'm getting up right away. So this is for you. This study's for you. People who hit the snooze button, does it impact your brain function? Clearly, you guys are so smart. Obviously, or are you bucking the trend here? What's
Sure, I called Shauna Thompson today.
Yeah, here it is. If you have your hand up at home, if you're playing along, if you hit snooze today, you can rest assured that when you got out of bed, you had a boost in cognitive performance that Nick and others who did not hit snooze did not have. This is a big study where they looked at hundreds of individuals, and they did a big survey. First of all, the thing I really liked about the study is it showed that it's normal to hit snooze. The average person gets up 22 minutes after that first alarm goes off. So if you're hitting snooze, let go of the guilt. 70% of people do snoozing. And then the other piece is when they did cognitive tests, they had people come into the lab and sleep in the lab. And the people who hit snooze a couple times before they got up, for that first half hour, had better cognitive performance than the people who just jumped right out of bed. Now, you're probably not doing your heaviest cognitive lifting in the first half hour of your day, so it's probably not a big deal, overall. But if you're snoozing, it's okay. That's the point.
Okay. I'm just trying to open my eyes for that first half hour. 3:36 comes pretty early. But that's the thing. I've timed my day out so much that I don't want to hit snooze.
You don't want to hit snooze.
I want to sleep up to every second I can get.
I want every second I can get of sleep.
Well, it's fascinating stuff, and it's always good breakfast fodder, that's for sure. Dan Riskin, always appreciate the time. We'll talk again next week. Have a good one.
Thanks so much,
Dan. Take care, guys. Thank you.
All right, now that the weather is cooling, sort of. I mean, this week's pretty nice, but next week it's a little bit cooler. We're going to be spending some more time inside, and it's never been easier to make your home smarter, a smart home, to save your money, save your time, or just any frustration. We all love that. Joining us right now is tech expert Mark Saltzman. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Jessica. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So why don't we start with protecting your home? A lot of folks are really starting to invest in this now.
Yeah, great point. And I'm thrilled to be partnering with Best Buy to show a half dozen great smart home solutions, starting with water damage. That's always the #1 home insurance culprit, right? Yeah, so the Moen Smart Water Network is actually a collection of smart water devices. Some of them are inexpensive sensors you can place around your home that detect moisture and push a notification to your phone to minimize damage. Or this here is the Flow Smart Water Monitor and shut-off valve. So if it detects a frozen pipe, a burst pipe, a child left the tap running, it'll automatically turn off the water supply for you.
I love that.
And push a notification to you. Yeah, it's great. You can actually save save money on your home insurance, up to 10% with a device like this. And then speaking of the outside of your home, you know how water gets in, you also want to protect your family and your contents. So smart locks are a very popular trend in the GTA. These are from Schlage, the Encode Plus, and then what I brought here was the smart Wi-Fi lever. They're both from the same family. Essentially, they give you convenience and security. You can use a keypad to get in your smartphone, your smart watch, or if you have someone coming over to do work, like a contractor or a babysitter, a dog walker, you can send them a temporary e-key over text message that grants them, instead of putting the key under the mat, which is not safe, right? So that's $300 for the Schlage Wi-Fi lever, which is great. Yeah, so a couple of solutions there for in and outside your home.
And how do we tie it all together with the kind of home smart technology and you know, it's about adding a little bit more control into things.
That's a good question, because instead of having or needing an app for all these different devices, if you could have one app to rule them all, yes. So this it's a great segue into the TELUS Smart Home Security Solution. For $15 a month to start, you get a camera, but then you can augment that. It's a dynamic sort of solution where you can add indoor and outdoor cameras, glass break sensors, window and door sensors, fire alarms, like smoke alarms rather, carbon monoxide. You can control your smart lights all from one app. Even if you left your home, you're at the airport, you're going on a trip, if you're lucky enough to go away this winter, you're like, did we shut the garage door? Did we set the home alarm? You can do that all from the TELUS app as well.
It's nice to have it all in one, because I find sometimes you get your phone really gets bogged down with 1,000 apps.
Yeah,
to
you
do
don't
all
have to
these
open up different things all the time. Yeah, so it's smart. It's a monitoring service as well. So I like that. And then speaking of wireless technology, I love this TV series from LG. It's brand new. It's called the OLED Evo M3 series OLED TVs. Not only are they huge at either 77 inches or 83 inches, but you're not limited as to where you can put it in your home. Like, let's say your Fibe modem or your cable box is in a certain place. It's wireless. So that means you connect what's called a zero connect box somewhere else in your home. Connect your game system to that, your TV service, and it'll wirelessly transmit 4K video up to 10 meters away. So it's a nice minimalist look. It's too big to bring in today.
I mean, it happens. And for people who live in condos, I think that's really nice as well, because you want to try to create a bit of an aesthetic, and you don't want wires everywhere.
Yeah, and it's a great point. And again, it's an OLED TV. If you haven't seen an OLED TV, they're absolutely stunning. 10th anniversary from LG for OLED.
And we're on a morning show, which just means coffee is a must.
Of course.
And I have to talk about this machine. Not only does it look cool, but it's got some pretty cool tech in it as well.
Yeah, it does indeed. It's the Breville Barista Touch Impress. So this is an espresso machine. You can also make lattes and cappuccinos and Americanos and all that. But aside from the touchscreen, which I love, it learns how you like to make your coffee. So it's got some smarts behind the scenes. I, for example, like a double shot of my latte. It'll remember that. And the milk frother, by the way, is the first ever for the home that can do non-cow milk as well. So almond, soy,
for all my lactose-free friends out there.
Exactly, because how you froth the milk will vary. Temperature, length, and intensity. So that wand will do it all for you. So this is awesome from Breville. I'm a big fan of these countertop smart appliances.
Very cool.
And then finally, while we've been talking, Jessica, about protecting your home, it's Cybersecurity Month in October. So we should also just end off on protecting your data as well.
Very important.
RBC conducted a survey in August with 1,500 Canadians that found that fraud and scam attempts are way up, 37% over last year. So if you find that you are a victim of a fraudulent attack, a scam, definitely change your passwords immediately. Update your cybersecurity software. Notify your contacts that they may receive a phony message claiming that they're you. Ignore it, and then of course report that breach to law enforcement and your financial institution like RBC. So great stuff.
And a good gift for maybe the people in our lives who maybe aren't as tech savvy, to help them out to protect all their information.
Yeah, definitely. And lots of info for free as well. And whether you're an RBC customer or not, rbc.com/cybersecurity.
We love it. Well, Mark, thank you so much.
Thank you.
From safety to coffee to everything in between, we're covered.
Well, Canada's oldest and largest international art fair is returning to the Metro Toronto Convention Centre from tomorrow until Sunday. Art Toronto is going to feature more than 100 international, national art galleries, installations, project spaces, and more. Joining us in studio this morning is Director of Art Toronto, Mia Nielsen, and co-founder with Jennifer coming up momentarily. But Mia, let's start with you. Great to have you here this morning to talk about this art fair. You know, you're really tantalizing me to get there, but what really makes it unique for our viewers who may not know?
Sure. So Art Toronto is the only international art fair in Canada. So that means that you can see an incredible diversity of art made across Canada, contemporary artists, Indigenous artists, historic work. all set within a context of international artists as well.
Do you have a sense of how many pieces will actually be on display?
Literally thousands. With 110 galleries.
Yeah, of course there would be so many. And so let's talk about this, because some people may go year after year.
Yes.
But what's different this year? Perhaps if you're going and go, is it going to be the same, or how?
No, it's certainly different every year. This year we're truly honored to have Kitty Scott as our focus exhibition curator. She is the most celebrated curator in Canada. She has put together a museum-quality exhibition, large-scale installation works, really exciting to see.
It must be something, all the work that you put in to sort of see this, come together every year and see, how you can make it new and exciting and different. Can you say, is there something in particular that you're really looking forward to checking out at Art Toronto this weekend?
We have some amazing international galleries this year from Paris, London, Buenos Aires, Frankfurt, Seoul. It's really an international affair this year, and exciting to see in Canada.
And it's taking place in Canada, but it's international. And Mia, would you say when it comes to art that you can tell this is Canadian art, or this is from Buenos Aires, or this is from, wherever, name that country? Or is art just unique and different no matter where you go?
Well, certainly artists are unique and different everywhere you go, and Canada is a very multicultural country, so we do see influences from all over the world in Canadian art. Something special to see here, of course, is our Indigenous representation, which is a huge part of the show. You will genuinely see artists from the Arctic, from the West Coast, from the plains all across Canada.
Okay, and Mia, you've brought in some art today. We've got this one on the table right here, but Jen is down in our studio now with a little more, and one of the gallerists as well here. So Jen, why don't you take it away?
Okay, thank you so much, Nick. So I want to introduce you to Devin Patel. He's the owner of Patel Brown Gallery, and he's brought in some stunning pieces today that are all going to be featured at Art Toronto. Devin, thanks for coming in. Maybe you can start by talking about this first piece, which I believe that you mentioned is incredibly made by someone typing something on a keyboard.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. So this work by Shahir Zaze, he actually, he types out every character on Microsoft Word. So it's like a digital tapestry, kind of mimicking the warp and weft of a tapestry or a rug.
Wow.
And this is a series looking at gardens and flowers in war-torn areas as symbols of hope and transformation. So it's quite poetic as well.
Yeah, that's very stunning. And this piece really represents the kind of work that you curate at your gallery, which is, international, but also features a lot of the culture and identity of the artist's home places and how they kind of merge that with the global changing world. Next up, I love this one. This is two famous artists collaborated on this. The title of the painting conveniently located on the painting itself. So tell us about this.
Yeah, so Neil Farber and Michael DeMonte, they've been collaborating for many years together, and their work always incorporates text, and it's very witty, it's insightful, it's also really heartfelt. I love this piece. I was once like you, but now I'm like me. It's a beautiful kind of like coming of age, individuation. What's better than being ourselves, right?
Yes, and give us an idea. So something of this size, which isn't huge, but two prominent artists, how much would a piece like this sell for?
Yeah, so we have a series of about 10 of these at the fair, and these are priced at $2,000 each.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, next up, we have an artist from Beijing, Shelley Zheng's piece called Earth Elemental, and it looks very kind of mixed media and surreal.
Yeah, so this is actually a photograph, a still life photograph, it's from a series of 5 honoring the 5 Chinese elements. And so this is Earth, and you can see these are aquarium stones, and these are actually bricks from the Leslie Spit. That have been eroded by water. And then there's a marbled fabric in the background to kind of tie it together. It's a beautiful piece.
Okay, and I want to get to the one that's sitting on the coffee table where Nick was earlier. That one is called, I believe, Trip Through the Brambles.
Yes.
Who did that one?
Yeah, that's a work by Winnie Trong, and it's amazing work. It's all hand-cut paper, and it's got an incredible depth to it. It's almost like a diorama. You can see hands blending with branches, snakes. Kind of this idea of interconnection with nature.
Yeah, it's very mesmerizing. And I want to mention we do have a giveaway, so viewers, pay attention. You could be lucky here. We're giving away a pair of tickets to Art Toronto this weekend. Devin is going to be there with a lot of his pieces. All you need to do at home is tell us where Art Toronto will be held. You can send the answer, where is it going to be held this weekend? Give us your answers now at CP24.com. You have a chance to win. Good luck. Devin Patel, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck at the art fair tomorrow. I will try to come by because it looks fascinating. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, of course, this is spooky season, and for some, Halloween's a chance to get the adrenaline pumping with some scary movies, perhaps a visit to a haunted house. For others, though, it's really an occasion to cover your eyes, maybe stock up on some clean underwear. But how does our brain decide what's fun and what's unpleasant about a good scare? I didn't know that was in the script.
Okay. Yeah, to explore more on this topic, we're going to bring in Jim Davies, professor of cognitive science at Carleton University. Professor Davies, thanks for joining us. First of all, I just attended my first ever seance at a haunted Isabella Street mansion, so I'm definitely one of those adrenaline-seeking junkies. But what is the importance of fear, and why do some people like me invite experiences that provoke it while others kind of steer clear?
So what I'm going to tell you is kind of speculative, but the idea is that we find dangerous information really useful. We think that it's going to inform us somehow about future things. That's why, for example, people will rubberneck traffic accidents, or if there's a fight in the street, they'll watch it. It's not because it's pleasant particularly, but we feel very compelled to learn about things that look dangerous. So that, I think, drives us to pay attention to things that are scary and dangerous and this kind of thing. It just feels kind of important. Part of our mind can't tell the difference between make-believe and reality, and it just feels the need to pay attention. So it's engaging.
And that's the thing, Professor, that you just mentioned, the make-believe versus reality, right? There are certain situations which are legitimately frightening, like perhaps if you see a fight in the street or you're close to it or something's unfolding, and like that is a scary situation versus you go to a haunted house where it is all made up, but you're freaked out anyway. I mean, our brain, even though we can say, I know this isn't real, I know this isn't real, but you can't overcome that.
Well, it's different parts of your brain think it's real and other parts of your brain don't. So, you know, when you watch a scary movie, you can tell yourself it's just a movie, and that helps a little bit. But so the part of your mind that, you know, when you see like what looks like a dead body, the part of your mind that detects that it's a dead body works exactly the same way, whether it's a picture or a real dead body or a fiction. And, you know, it activates the memory, and your more cognitive processes and consciousness trying to tell you that it's not real can kind of attenuate that, but not make it go away completely.
And what I want to ask you next is about, you know, our reaction to scary situations. Is this something that is imprinted at birth or a product of our experiences over time, kind of like nature versus nurture in terms of fear and scary pictures?
Yes, I think both are going on. There's certainly things that are naturally very frightening and disturbing, body horror and you know, diseased skin is, we have evolved an aversion to that because, you know, dead bodies carry disease, and, you know, people with, you know, sharp objects and men chasing you, you know, we dream about that. But of course we can learn to be scared of certain things, like, you know, if you have bad experiences, but like even dolls and clowns, and, you know, some people have fears like that. I think what's going on there is that they look like unusual humans that might be, something is wrong with them or sick or something. So we get this kind of an eerie feeling that we sometimes can get with severe mental illnesses or other strange conditions. When a person isn't acting natural, it sets off our warnings in our brain.
It's interesting, you know, for a few years, or at least, you know, 3 years ago, we were all afraid of something we couldn't see. That was COVID. Very different situation. You couldn't see that, but people were certainly afraid of it. But what about something, you know, the term facing your fears? The CN Towers down the street, some people may go up and say, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of heights, but I'll tackle that. Is that a way of getting past the sort of physical and psychological reactions to fear?
Yes. I mean, I think people seek it out partially because it's thrilling, you know, like you get, your heart rate gets up, and it's kind of exciting. I mean, you bring up, you know, the pandemic. It's interesting. When they first introduced the germ theory of disease, people had a hard time believing it because the idea of caring about and being afraid of something that you couldn't see was very unusual. So historically speaking, you know, like being afraid of germs is actually quite rare. But yeah, facing your fears, you can certainly, your mind will habituate to almost anything. So if, you know, many people have a natural fear of heights. That's an inborn thing. Even like infants feel it. But of course, if you work in lighting in theater or window washing, you will extinguish that fear eventually.
Okay, very fascinating conversation. We're going to have to leave it there. Professor Jim Davies from Carleton University, I appreciate your time. Happy Halloween.
Thanks, Professor.
Happy Halloween.
One of the city's most beloved Halloween events is back. The dogs are howling for Halloween, and it'll bring some of the cutest pups together in the city to strut and show off their style this Saturday, tomorrow at the Bentway. So for more on what's in store, we're joined this morning by Anna Gallagher-Ross, Senior Manager of Programming at the Bentway, and some other special guests in the studio that we'll get to right after this interview. Anna, great of you to join us.
Thank you so much.
So let's talk about Halloween. This is an event dedicated to our furry pup friends.
Yes.
They put on a costume contest, essentially a parade. Tell us, when does it start, how people can attend, and what's in store?
Absolutely. So it's happening tomorrow, Saturday, between 12 and 4 p.m. at the Bentway, which is located at 250 Fort York Boulevard, underneath the Gardiner Expressway. And this is an event, that really was born out of the fact that the Bentway is the city's backyard, and all the people living in the condominiums surrounding the Bentway, have dogs, and they tend to walk them through our site. And we started to notice around Halloween time that all of them were walking dogs dressed in costumes. And so we thought, why not have a fantastic Halloween party with all of our dogs, which has evolved into the amazing parade that we are talking about today. So we're now in our third year.
Okay.
Every year we anticipate over 500 dogs in attendance.
Wow.
In addition to that, we have their owners as well as just dog lovers.
Yeah.
There will be a costume contest, as we said, that will be judged by one of our esteemed guests today, actually. And there will be a variety of prizes and categories that you can win in. And that's the center point of the event. But we also have an amazing pup market with local vendors. We have music. We have amazing cozy vibes with beverages. It's just an amazing, really cute Halloween event.
Yeah, it sounds really fun. So you don't need to be a dog owner. You can just bring your kids to this event and soak up all the sights and sounds. Now, to enter the parade or the costume contest, what are the rules there for dog owners interested in doing that?
You just show up with your dog in costume. There's no registration required. You just have to be there by 12 noon tomorrow. You will be judged as you walk through the parade. And so it's really free for everyone to attend and really accessible.
Okay. Well, let's not waste any more time, because I promise we have some special guests in the house tonight. Who let the dogs out? They're in our studio, so they're going to do a mini preview parade of what's to come. So Anna, tell us about who we're seeing right now.
You see now our esteemed judge, Mrs. Pickles, who's Toronto's favorite drag pug. She is sporting a vintage throwback, actually, which is a Sailor Moon costume.
Oh my gosh, I see it.
And today Pickles is joined by her best friend Bacon the Doggers. Bacon is also in the house, and Bacon is dressed as, Sailor Moon's favorite friend, which we all recognize, of course.
Tuxedo
mask.
Yes! Oh my goodness, I love it.
And so these doggos have been friends for years. They're just fantastic fashion icons. We're so glad that they're joining us.
Tuxedo mask, okay. Tuxedo mask and Sailor Moon, and Nick's down there with some of the dogs. And who do we have coming down the ramp now?
Here we have Happy the Cockapoo, who has been attending the Bentway's Halloween ever since they were born, so they are a lifer, and they are playing a terrifying T-Rex today.
A lifer. So cute. Okay, and I think we have one more pup coming down the ramp now. Who is this beauty?
This is Tweety, and this is a genre I really appreciate, which is dogs dressed as food items. I mean, you can't resist a dog as a taco, a dog as pizza. Here we have an adorable slice of cuteness, who will be attending tomorrow as well. We're so thrilled to have all of these dogs joining us at the Bentway.
So cute. And look, the owners, they're welcome to dress up alongside their pups, right?
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that. We actually have a prize category for group costume, which means the doggo and their human friend. And that could be multiple humans, multiple dogs. We've had some amazing ones in the past.
Oh my goodness, this sounds like so much fun. Okay, Nick, I'm going to hand it over to you now. Maybe you can speak to some of the dog owners about their costumes today and what they're looking forward to tomorrow.
Jen, I was waiting for you to make a catwalk, dog walk joke there. Didn't get that, but of course we got these incredibly styled and dressed up pups. Margaret, I want to talk to you because you are one of the judges for this. What is it you're going to be looking for? Like if people are maybe considering their costumes today for tomorrow, what are you going to be looking for?
I think we really look for creativity. I think that's a big thing. Just creative costumes, punny, wacky, and also spooky. So
yeah, I love the glasses over here. Those are a little bit of a struggle. Do the dogs seem to enjoy this?
Bacon is actually a fashion model on Instagram.
Okay.
So I actually personally made his costume. Like we made the suit, the shirt.
Do you get extra points for that?
Yeah. So we were actually matching Sailor Moon and tuxedo mask.
That is really, really impressive. And then let's talk about Happy the cockapoo here. Been 3 years, right? So do you think Happy's looking forward to this?
Oh, yeah, this is his favorite event of the year. He's very excited to show off his costume.
Yeah, has he ever won?
Sadly, no.
Okay.
But there's still time
Maybe
for that.
one day, Happy. Maybe one day, Happy. Happy's not too happy with me. Okay, let's move on to pizza. Everyone loves a little slice of pizza. And your dog just seems really attentive.
She is very treat motivated.
All right.
So she sees them in my hand. Kind of like her
also
pizza.
treat motivated.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, this has been a real treat talking to all of you. I'll get out of the way so I can get a great shot of all these dressed up pooches getting ready for the Halloween at the Bentway tomorrow. Starts at noon. Enjoy, everyone, and have a great time. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.